shoe and protect the president. Now, the reporters in the room say that security from both Iraq and Secret Service took down this television reporter who hurled those shoes, and that the man was screaming. They said it sounded like he was in pain and that you could hear him screaming as he was dragged into the next room. So obviously this is not the highlight that the Bush administration wanted to be on all of the TV channels for today and probably for many days to come. They were hoping that this would be part of President Bush's legacy in the war in Iraq, but obviously an unexpected turn of events. And again, a television journalist, what you see there, hurling both shoes at President Bush. They flew over his head. He wasn't injured. He joked about it. The White House press secretary did get hit by one of the microphones in all of the confusion. She has a tiny black eye, but everybody is expected to be okay. Not clear what's going to happen to that television journalist in Iraq.
All right, thank you. Patty Culhane joining us live right now from the White House. Richard Engel, NBC News, Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent. You've been at press conferences like this. This is absolutely amazing. Surprising is really an understatement here.
Certainly, they don't force you to take your shoes off, though, and we've been told by one of our producers who was in the room at the time that this was a 29-year-old Iraqi television reporter who worked for one of the local stations there, al-Baghdadiya, and that he's extensively covered violence in Sadr City, which is part of Baghdad, and that has had many friends and colleagues killed, and that he had recently been kidnapped and tortured, the journalist. And so this is someone who's clearly been under a lot of stress, and today this was a shocking thing, and no one had expected that. When you go into a press conference, clearly when the president is there in Iraq in general, you go through several different layers of security. Your cameras are checked, your bags are checked, your equipment is dusted for any kind of explosive material, but you're not forced to take off your clothing or your shoes. So.
Of course not. Can you talk to us a little bit, Richard, about the significance of shoes in Arab culture?
Well,
showing the sole of the shoe, and
it goes all the way. I mean, generally, if someone stamps on something in any culture, it's considered a great insult. But in Iraq, it has a particular significance. In front of the old Rashid Hotel, there used to be a portrait, which is one of the main hotels in Baghdad. Under Saddam, there used to be a portrait of the Bush father, or the first President Bush, and to get into the hotel, you had to walk on top of it, and that was considered particularly insulting. And then after the collapse of the Saddam government, there was a very famous image of an Iraqi man with a poster of Saddam Hussein beating it with the heel of his shoe. Now, I'm not sure if this baseball-playing Iraqi journalist had anything like that in his mind, but he clearly meant this as a statement, to express his outrage and his disgust. When he was tackled to the ground, he started screaming. One of the things he was saying was, "You're a dog." He was hurling insults, which is also in Iraqi culture a very considered a very dirty and unclean thing.
And again, this was supposed to be a moment not to be forgotten because of this signing of the SOFA and the Strategic Framework Agreement. Certainly significant on many different levels, but this, quite frankly, is the image that will be remembered.
And for President Bush and the entire White House team, this must be an incredible disappointment. Obviously, it's a chaotic moment, and I'm sure people have adrenaline up and are coming down when they realize this was a security breach also, but this was not clearly the message that they wanted. This was supposed to be a great achievement for the president. He's returning there after Iraq and the United States government signed a friendship agreement, a security pact